Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Openonugo weekly meeting. Please remember that the call is recorded and will be shared of what you shared during the call. So we have a few topics on the agenda. Do we have any update on the deletion of new images from the adapter?
No, nothing has been done for this.
Okay, sounds good. There is this PM point. I'm not really sure what Andrea meant with this, but I think this is related to the work that Girish was doing on the adapter's alarm. Is that correct?
Basically, yes. There are some further requirements. This is namely from GTAC, I think Paul Wagner. A more specific requirement on what should be available on the matrix or PM data, and so this is a kind of more specific requirement, and we have to check what is already in the ONO adapter and what might be an additional requirement coming out of this. So some things we have already discussed in our last meeting as 2.8 release relevant. And as I understood, Andrea wanted to discuss this slide or this document more detailed when Girish will return.
Okay. Yeah, that will make. Okay, Thorsten, is there any update on the testing?
Yes, of course. I have made some progress with the PM counters test. And besides the small enhancement I sent to you already, maybe I found a bigger issue today, but this is an analysis by Michael too. And I hope that I will tomorrow morning upload the first version of this test suite. This is not complete, but so you and all the other are interested in can take a look what I'm doing there, and yes, can say if I'm on the right way or not. Then the timestamp.
Okay, but that's
yeah.
That's still related to the PM counters, right?
Right. That's only PM counters.
Okay. And for this announcement, I'll have to check with Girish. This is the difference between the PM name and the PM group.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Right.
I'm not aware of the source of that. I see you discussed it. The morning. So is that issue solved, or we still need to check why do we use the two fields and why they have different names?
I have made a small workaround in the suite to solve this issue, and Andrea told me that we will finish the discussion when Girish is back.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the best way. I suspect it may be for some kind of backward compatibility with the previous version of the names, but better to double check with Girish.
We will check it with Girish and then we will find a solution.
Yeah.
Yes. The patch I will deliver tomorrow is only a work in progress patch, of course. Maybe you can make this hint.
Yes, perfect, fine.
Yes, the next point is yellow backgrounded one, or I don't know which color it is. There, Himani made a patch or patches, and with private images by Himani, I can see it will be solved when all the patches are submitted and we see correct timestamps in the Kafka bus.
Okay.
You don't have to open it here. It's Himani made.
Okay, but there is a patch from Imani that fixes the issues of it.
Yes, of course. She made an update of the libraries, and now the images of the adapters have to build new with Himani's patches. There are. She told me that there are several patches. I don't know the numbers. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Do you know if she pushed them up to get it already?
I think so, but I'm not sure. She wrote me in Slack only what she few patches for core and adapters. There will be several patches.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are on. Okay, perfect.
The next point with the missing seconds when the interval is printed, it's still open. I don't know if it will be solved when Girish will come back or if another one will be solved this. For this, I also made a workaround in my test suite. At the moment, it works, and so there is no. It's not an urgent thing here.
Okay, perfect. While the hard thing is still working on this test.
This is Hardix. I don't know the progress there.
I think he's working on it. If I understood correctly, yesterday is getting close to have something working, but we're not there yet. Okay. Is there anything else we need to discuss on the testing topic? And sorry if I'm going a little faster, but there are a lot of things on the agenda. And there is also one thing that I don't see on it, but Andrea asked me to discuss that is the reconcile with the core, because there was a discussion yesterday during the TFC regarding it. Let me add it to the agenda. Okay. Can someone speak about this issue with the multi-OLT environment?
I think that was an issue that we also scheduled for the future, and there is a change already planned, I think, in RW core to have a internal reconcile state when the UNO adapter is in reconcilement, so that the, I don't know what it is, the real name, connection state or something like that, has a reconcilement state. The problem that we have seen so far in our tests is that when the adapter goes through the first initialization phase of the reconcilement, then RW core already starts to configure it, and then we fall into some bad situations. So the hope would be that RW core can start the configuration only when the reconciliation of the adapter has finished using that internal state. And so the hope is that we can solve the issues that we observe in the current state, is solved with this approach. But well, it's not really clarified. It's just, I think it still needs discussion.
Yeah, but just to understand, is it RW core that sends the configuration, or is it the OpenOLT adapter that starts sending?
Yeah, both, of course. But in my point of view, of course, the initial step for doing so also for the OLT adapter is done by RW core. The according flow configuration that is sent to the OLT adapter.
Okay. Yeah, there was a pretty lengthy discussion on the reconciliation phases yesterday during the TST. Because onto these patches to address these issues, and we were trying to figure out what would be the right order for things to happen and who should be responsible to actually initiate the reconciling. And David and Chip, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last point we made yesterday was that the adapters are the one that knows when the device needs to be reconciled, but the core is the one that will actually initiate it in case of failure. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. The core will call reconcile on the adapter, but all state changes to the operation state will happen from the adapter.
And so when that is done, I believe that will fix this issue of the core starting to configure the adapter, the device too early, because the state that triggers the configuration will be updated by the adapter once the adapter is ready. Does it make sense?
Of course, it's not only sufficient to have this flow of states. You also have to have according control cord in RW core to delay an according needed configuration until a certain state is reached again. So I hope that is implicitly done, but yeah, of course there must be some active code for the control of that.
Yeah, I thought that was driven through the device state. So when I think when the adapter sets the device as active, then that's when the core starts configuring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's also the case where you're reconciling a device that's disabled. So I think it's like in an opera status, something. There's a specific state after you finish reconciling that you basically tell the core that you're either active, because you were previously enabled, or you are disabled after reconciling because you were previously disabled. I'd have to look at the actual code, but there is a specific change that could be detected by the core.
Okay, so we need to understand what is the correct combination of upper state and admin state we need to have during the reconciliation, and then to update once the reconciliation is done.
Yeah, I believe it's the opera state that's sent back that is updated, because the core controls admin state.
Okay. David, is there anything else you needed to discuss about reconciliation since we are on the topic?
Nothing, not in the immediate, right? At some point we had talked about making the adapters stateless in some sense, right? That they were completely passive and only did any processing in reaction to a call from the core around reconciliation. But I think that's a longer term discussion. For now, for now, my understanding is when they get a call about reconciliation from the core, they will attempt to reconcile. They will first set the state to reconciling, attempt to reconcile. If that fails, they will then change the state to reconcile failed. And at a later point, the core will come back and try to tell the adapter to re-reconcile.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, for the broader discussion is probably better if at a certain point we'll schedule a call with all the adapter developers in the same place instead of having the same discussion in multiple meetings.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anything else anyone needs to discuss on the reconciliation issue? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Is there any update on the software update test on hardware?
No, there's no news.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I don't think Andrea had made any progress on adding the Adran news to the Berlin pod. What is the new image protos update? These are the changes to the API to drive the image upload in the container.
think that was some proposal from Andrea in order to consolidate the, let's say, the APIs, the user APIs for the ONU software upgrade, according to the document where we have discussed improvements for the ONU software upgrade.
Okay, and this is still pending discussion review.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if there is a need to discuss the roadmap. I think it will be better to have Andrea for that, unless there is something you guys need to discuss. Then I can report it back to him later today. But if not, I think this was Netia Odzge working on it, on the traffic descriptor.
Yes, Matteo, I am working on that.
Okay, sounds good.
I finished coding, but I didn't have any chance to test it.
Okay. Thanks, Odzge, for the update. And then I think there was a discussion last week on the extended frame support in OMCI, and I know that Chip prepared a document and a presentation. So do you want to share your screen and go through it, or do you want me to share?
I can share. We can go through pretty quickly.
Yeah. You should be able to share now.
Okay. And this is the first time I've shared on my iPad, so hopefully I'll click the right buttons. Just a moment. I got to give Zoom permissions. Oh, you might as well share. I'd have to quit and reopen Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you just do the presentation, the second link, that would probably be best. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Okay.
So just, I just did this so we'd have at least a document we could save off somewhere in the Volta docs if you want to copy that over. But I guess there's a need for the extended message set primarily for the use in the download of firmware image, and then later supporting that for the MIB upload, the get next, or the MIB and MIB upload next call. So if you could do the next slide. Basically, I can, since I have limited time this iteration, I can guarantee I can get phase 1 done. So that would be the get request and response, download section request and response, and also the alarm notification. I don't know if attribute value change notifications really needed, but it might as well be coded at the same time. So, and for example code, I'm updating the unit test. So if you look at the very end of the message types test.go, as I do these check-ins, there should be plenty of examples to help code from. And if there's specific questions, if someone wants to start implementing it on the OpenONU side, just send me email or start up a Slack conversation. I'd be happy to work with you. But I have a feeling this won't be consumed for probably for several more weeks. So, and then on the next slide, basically obviously we want to get, the reason I wanted to do that is typically you do a normal baseline extended GET request of the ONU 2GME, and you can check the OMCC version to see if it supports, it returns a different set, but you basically can use that to determine if the extended set is supported. And then the OLT, if it sees that it's supported, then the OLT, the OpenONU adapter can go ahead and start using the extended message set for the message types we supported. But I'd like to make a suggestion that we also do an additional GET request, an extended GET request of maybe the ONU 2GME, since the OpenONU is disaggregated from the OLT. You never know if the OLT actually supports it as well. So I just wanted to highlight that. And also in the existing Python code, we had the capability to do a GET request and ask for like all the attribute types, and the Python code would actually go out and do a series if it needed to do multiple frames to do that request. So I didn't know if that was available in the OpenONU adapter, but you might look at what the Python version does, because that might simplify a lot of your GET requests. So it doesn't really care whether it's extended or not. Whenever you do a GET, you get all the attributes you ask for in response. But that's just optional. I just wanted to highlight that one. Then on the next slide, that's obvious. There's large frames. That's the biggest motivation initially for this. And I don't think there's, and for most of the APIs, I'll try to keep them exactly the same. And for the download section, I'll try to make sure we can support a byte slice, so that basically the for loop in the OpenONU adapter is cleanly written. And you can also specify, you can send as many bytes as you want up to the maximum payload size. And on the next slide.
Quick question on this chip.
Sure.
There are, if I remember correctly, there are two different download section messages, one that requires a response and one that doesn't. Are those based on the same parent, so they'll get the same thing?
Yeah, they're exactly the same. There's just a bit, the AK bit, I believe, in the message header.
Okay.
And so you'd be able to do the multiple large frames without a response until you get to the end of your message processing.
Okay, thanks.
And then the other impact is primarily I was thinking about the alarm. Since we're dealing with ONUs, we really have no idea how the ONU will start sending alarms once extended message set has been negotiated. So I was going to go ahead and code up the alarm and ABC notifications to be able to decode and encode those two. So that might be a change to the state machine for the alarm synchronization. And I would think most ONUs would probably just go ahead and use the baseline set, even if the extended has been negotiated, because there's no real benefit in using the extended type, but obviously we have no idea what it'll do. These are ONUs. And then the last one is, I wasn't going to really focus on doing the test results message as an extended type, but you can receive an asynchronous test result notification after a test. So I'm not sure, I would hope that if we, in the existing test requests that we do, if we do those in the baseline format, that we would always get responses in the baseline format as well. But I think this is just something we might want to test with actual ONUs out there.
I think that both for the alarm and the test, we can check on the hardware we use and see how that behaves.
Yeah.
And based on that, decide whether to look at this or not.
Okay. Well,
But-
one good thing is the alarm notifications are very simple. That's a very, very simple message to code up in the extended format. So that's like almost a freebie.
Okay.
I'll try to have it going. And I was thinking about doing this in 3 separate commit requests. So and start with the get and get response, because that will help plumb out. I've already got the get request serialization and decoding working, and I just need to do the response, and that'll shake out all the attributes that can be.
And the way this works with the ONU is that the adapter does a get and check whether the extended format is supported, and if
Yes.
so, it sends a set to something to enable it.
No, it's just that's just there's actually a section in the code that tells you the process, but basically you do the get request and you see that it supports it, then the OLT can start using the extended message set, and then the ONU knows that it is supported. So there's no additional thing you have to tell the ONU to say you are now allowed to use the ONU. I mean, the extended message set.
Okay, so it's something that is either supported or not. You don't need to enable it via MCI.
Yeah, that's correct. And the big thing is make sure that you also do an extended get request after you find out that the ONU supports it, because if you do the extended get request, then you can find out if the OLT supports it, since we're disaggregated.
But in our case, do we really care whether the OLT supports it? Because the OLT is only basically forwarding the messages.
Yes, but what there are some OLTs that do not support the extended message format. So if you ask it to proxy it, it'll either throw it on the ground or perhaps do some kind of error in terms. It's just basically a safeguard, just so that I'd rather not have an extra parameter that's passed on device capabilities, since this can be easily discovered.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought supporting meant that the OLT had to do something with the OMCI exchange instead. Is basically supporting the pass-through of the messages.
Yeah. So if it's an FPGA based design, it may have a limited transmit buffer for OMCI messages, so it might not be able to do the segmentation. So.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Okay, and that's pretty much everything. So
that might anyway also be an issue for the OLT adapter. I don't know if the OLT adapter tries to transmit such an extended message to the OLT and the OLT is not able to handle it. So there might be some error. I'm not sure. So maybe we also can get an error indication back. So might be there's some additional effort for the OLT adapter as well.
Yeah, I would code in the OMCI proxy portion of the OLT, maybe just to peek at the extended set. And if you know your device doesn't support it, or you get error, it'd be nice to send back the unsupported message type command. Otherwise, you have to rely on a timeout.
But don't you, as of now, if an OMCI message fails, you get a notification back in the Openonugo adapter.
It depends on how it fails.
I was changing BBC.
Yeah, it really depends. You'll either get a timeout or you'll get an error code saying that it failed.
Okay, yeah, we'll need to make sure that in the case it's not supported, we'll get back an error code and not
Yeah.
an amount.
Yeah, anything the OLT can do to speed up the Openonugo deciding it can't do something is probably a benefit. It will help onboard the ONUs faster. And maybe that's just something that OLT agent can do, perhaps.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chip, for the presentation and the great work on the library.
Okay.
Is there?
Yeah, and I'll try to do the. Pardon? Oh.
Oh.
I'll try to do the mib upload and mib upload next as well if I can get to it. I just don't know if would someone in the Openonugo device adapter be able to consume it within this time, or are we pretty much full at full capacity with the existing work?
Chip, one remark from my side. If it helps, I'm not sure. It depends on the structure, how you implement it. For the get request, get response messages that you want to do in phase one, maybe it's sufficient to do that for the PM requests, because that's basically where we could have an advantage of the extended format. So it is not needed from structure that you do it for all requests, then you could concentrate on the PM requests first.
Okay. Well, all the ME formatting is exactly the same, the message entities. So, you know, you just on the OLT code, it's the one who, I mean, the ONU code is the one who specifies what message format to use. So the get will actually just start working for the PM counters. So you just need to share the flag saying, hey, you can use get request extended format. And then if that ends up being really important, there's also the get current data request. I might try to move that in, because that if we're able to want to be able to pull counters, you know, pull the running counters instead of the 15-minute ones, that would be a nice one to support as well.
Yeah, yes. You know, we have this open issue anyway for release 2.8 to support the current counters.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll try to move that in. I think that would probably, I might be able to squeak that one in as well. So.
Okay, sorry, my connection dropped for a second. I think you had a good handle on it. Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss on the extended format support?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks. Ozge, is there anything you wanted to discuss on the internal error handling?
No, I don't have, but I just sent a patch about the wall 33 90 69 68, sorry, and Andreas give a comments about my patch, but I think Michael and other people, I will happy if Michael and other people look my patch. Yes, this patch.
Sure, Oscar, I will do. Was expecting that I've seen some comments from Andrea as well, and thought you might react on that first. But anyway, I can also have a look already now on that.
Yes, I will fix Andrea's comment.
And then there is this document on the multi-uni support. I don't know if that has already been discussed within this group. I've seen it coming up in a few different conversations. So is there I see you guys have commented on it a bit, so you are already aware. Is there any concern, any discussion we want to have on this topic?
I think not now, because also Mahir is not in the round, as I can see. So I would hope that he is able to have a look at the comments, and perhaps we'll come back with some question on that and some further discussion. I don't think it has much sense to go into details here.
Sounds good. Okay. Is there anything else we need to discuss for this call?
In our regression test, Jenkins regressions, we had recently some errors concerning the soft reboot behavior, sporadic errors. I wrote 2 JIRAs for that. One is already worked upon by Imani. I think she has already delivered a solution for one of the problems that appeared here. I will have to provide a different solution for the tech profile configuration after the UNO reboot. The question that might be interesting is what we do with that, because what happens here in both cases is a crash of the UNO adapter. And the question might be what we do with the 2.7 release. Should we consider to make a patch also for the 2.7 release or not? Maybe that is a question more to Andrea then.
Yeah, I will definitely bring this up with Andrea. I will say that the questions whether to backport it or not is how complex is it to backport it, and I think that should be fairly easy because I don't think the code has changed hugely since the release. And how often does this happen? If this is something that we can that happens all the time, then yeah, we should backport it and make a 2.7.1 release.
Yeah, it does not happen all the time. It's more sporadic.
We have done it a bunch of times for 2.7.
It's not really happen all the time or determined determinedly at a small sporadic issue concerned with the soft reboot command. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll bring it up with Andrea and Saurav, and we'll see whether to make a 2.7.1 or possibly add it to the known issues of 2.7, because that's another possibility.
Okay.
It's also possible that we'll wait a little longer, and then if we find other issues in other components that need to be backporting, and we'll do a 2.7.1 regardless, then we'll probably backport this one too. But so we'll see. Okay. Is there anything else?
No.
Okay, then I guess we can have 10 minutes of our lives back. Thanks everyone for joining, and talk to everyone next week.
Thanks, Mateo.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Good evening or good day, depending on where you are.
Bye.